Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of the Family Chantel. This is season 3, episodes 8 and 9. I refer to this episode as salads and milkshakes, and I don't know why. Maybe that's the title of it. Hi, Shan. Hi, Shannon Van. Hi, Quasi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the room. So, if you guys are not watching this live, don't worry. We're going to start right now. Thank you so much for coming into the room. I appreciate those of you who are here. But if you are part of hashtag replay gang, go on ahead and leave a comment down below. Hashtag replay gang. If you would like to donate to the baby fund, you can do so down below. Or if you'd like to just give me a tip for being awesome, again, you can do so with the methods down below. Unfortunately, there is no super chat on this video just because, you pretender don't turn money, okay? But let's go on ahead and jump right in. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to share on any social media platform that you deem fit. Okay, so 2 episodes in one because for whatever reason, single episodes, I can't do it every week, okay? I can only give it to you every 2 weeks. I'm trying. So where we left off is Chantel and her mother Karen meeting up with what's his name? River and her why can't River and Megan, Megan and River Megan. The Megan River. Okay. So Megan gets there and she is not his typical type. His typical type that Chantel says is dark-haired and Latina. So basically the conversation is not that interesting. I don't know if Karen and Chantel just didn't want to make a bad impression on her or she didn't give them anything to really talk about. This is the first time that I have seen them kind of cordial and not just act up. And I think it's because they don't have any information about her. And this takes Megan aback. Megan feels like the conversation was weird and awkward because they didn't ask many questions and because they didn't know she had a child. She was shocked at that. So now she doesn't understand why River wouldn't have said that outright. So then they started asking her questions about the child. And I think it just threw them off. And they just had to think about, I guess, what they thought about River dating somebody that has a child. And also Megan was like, we're taking things slow. And I feel like that might have been in an effort to let his family know that she doesn't expect him to be a daddy and that she doesn't need him in her life. You know what I'm saying? I think she wanted them to know that she was an independent woman and that, her and River are just feeling things out and there's nothing worth, truly. Honestly, I felt like what Megan was saying made me think, then why are you here? Why are you meeting his family at such and not a formal event, but at a very specific event? You get what I'm saying? So it's one thing if Megan had been introduced to them at a family gathering where everyone's spouse was there or where there was a lot of people, to where all the spotlight wouldn't have been on Megan, but they could have gotten to know her a little bit. For example, if there had been a Thanksgiving meal where it was more than just the core 5 of that family, maybe if it was just Karen's sisters, Thomas's brothers, their kids, to where there was a lot of people there to where they can't really get to know Megan, but they see her and they have maybe a little bit of cordial conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? But because this was such a specific sit down to meet Megan, it feels like if Megan doesn't want things to be full speed ahead and she wants to take her time, then her being introduced to Karen at this point was unnecessary. And I think that's what we were seeing is Karen being like, well, do I really care to invest and say much to you about what little I know about you? No, because you're basically telling me that things aren't truly serious with my son. And so when River tries to ask them about it in the car on the way home, she's like, well, this person, the way Karen is referring to her, it was very interesting. She kept saying, your friend. Well, your friend said that she wanted to take it at a slow pace. And Chantel was like, yeah, your friend didn't seem like she was on the same page as you with where you guys were in your relationship. So it's really interesting. So, and I get that. It's River introduced them, I guess, early on so that there wouldn't be much drama, but really all it needed to be, really what all needed to happen is Megan just needed to come to the house and have a 15-minute hello, how are you doing? Yeah, me and your son are gonna go out. And then River and Megan go out, and then that's it. So they needed a couple of those before they had this sit down milkshake and salad situation. And Chantel was so, I know she didn't mean to, but it came off as so rude when she was like, okay, I'm done. I have so much things to do today. Let's go. Like, she got up out of that booth like, okay, we're done filming. I have so much on my to do. And I know Megan was probably like, okay, okay, all right, great. So, yeah. So then, what's his name? River. River ended up saying in his confessional that he doesn't want other people's opinions to sway him on what he should feel about Megan, and that he wants to figure it out himself. And I wrote that down because to me at the time it seemed dumb. Like, it just seemed like, what do you mean? Like, if no one's opinion is going to sway you from anything unless what it is you're about to walk into is something that you know is dumb, right? That's the only way. Like, I don't like this idea that we kind of influence each other and someone is just blindly following the lead, especially like even when we're talking about Ja and Winter. Like, I don't think Ja brainwashed River. No, that's not her name. Winter. I don't think Ja brainwashed Winter. I think Winter was in a vulnerable place and wanted something like that. She wanted someone to want her. And in those moments, that person providing you a certain structure that's different than what you came from, because obviously what you came from wasn't working. So someone offering you something new and different and being the leader in that is enticing. And as you know, I mean, it has been 7 years. However, Winter never truly, I think, acquiesced to the demands of Ja. Otherwise, they would have been married. Otherwise, things would have been in a different light. She would have stopped celebrating all the holidays years ago. So to me, like, no one's going to force anyone to do something. You are doing it because you want to and because there is a space in your heart for this change. And so, like, for River to say he doesn't want anyone's opinions to stray or to like sway him, I'm like, you already know what you know. Like, you already know what you want, and what you want is Megan, hook or crook, kid or no, 28 or no, like full on career, doesn't really need you or no. Like, you want her for whatever reason. So anyways, he's always saying weird things to me, and I just feel like he needs like someone in his life. I don't know. And maybe I'm just like, these are people that I've just never come in contact with, and this is just a different philosophy and a different way of thinking. And so that's it. And I just need to leave it at that. Okay, so then the next scene we have is Pedro and his family going to the campo to visit his grandmother. And I want to know where they get this car from. Like, Pedro got his license and all of a sudden he's doing all the things at once. Like, also, I absolutely call holiday fraud. Why is it now? Does it not get cold in Atlanta, Georgia? Why is it now that all of a sudden, after they've had their holiday and they broke bread and they did all this stuff, are they outside in a fire? Somebody tell me if you understand the way Atlanta weather goes. But I thought it got cold. I didn't think y'all could just be sitting out, without coats. Like, I'm calling holiday fraud 100%. 155%. Unless they like filmed part of it in 2020 October, and then in holiday, and then they came back 9 months later and filmed the rest. Like, I don't know. Anyways, so he is driving to the campo, and then he starts to ask his mother. It's like two conversations at once. There's a conversation with Nicole and Pedro talking to the mother, asking about their father. The mother being like, and then them being like, oh my God, like, mom, mommy, this is important to us. And then the conversation switches to Pedro attacking Nicole. And then Nicole's like, ay, estúpido. Okay. Then we get to the campo, and Pedro asks his grandmother about his father. Like, my father, like, what's the deal? And then they're like, oh, he used to bring you all kinds of gifts. Did I already talk about this? I feel like I did. Anyways, he used to come to the house with all kinds of gifts. Then it turns out that he was married and he didn't tell me. And then the mother's like, well, I had Nicole because I didn't want to have two baby daddies. And so I figured, like, if this was going to be on his end, he wasn't going to leave his wife, his senora, then, like, fine, let me just have this baby and go about my business. And then the grandmother reveals, like, this is how it's done. Like, Dominican men are basura. They are cheaters. They're all over the place. They have several families. In fact, your grandfather had another family and had kids elsewhere. And, like, that's just what it is. Like, women have to be strong and do things on their own and, like, live their lives. Like, this is what it is. So, like, the fact that you're wanting to run after your dad or you feel some kind of way about your mother or me is crazy. And he is so upset about this. Like, he has never heard of that Dominican men do this. And I said, not only do Dominican men do this, Haitian men do it, the whole island of Hispaniola, also the whole Caribbean, the whole North America, the whole South America, and probably parts of Europe and Asia. Like, that kind of behavior is not uncommon in the entire world. So I was like, maybe it's like the thing in the Dominican Republic, but I'm sure it's not all, but it's definitely in Central America, girl. It's definitely in Honduras and Belize. Let me tell you, these men be having families. Let me tell you, my grandfather is one of them. Okay, so, like, this is, like, what happens. And so it's crazy to me that he is so unaware of it, but also that he, like, low-key attacks his mother for that. Now, I do agree with him that his mother's attitude about it is trifling. Like, she shouldn't be so like, nice, I see y'all, it's okay. No, this person is obviously hurting, help him out. And he's like, oh, you're being so dramatic. Since you got with Chantel, you're so dramatic. And so now he's like, well, my Chantel was telling me that my families are users, and so maybe she's right. And I'm like, you knew there was users. You know they were what? You didn't know? Anyways, and so then he gets upset and he calls Nicole a slut because she's having sex with Alejandro. Girl, I do not know. It was too much. Okay? It was too much. And then next morning, mother tries to make up by making him a breakfast. He's not having that breakfast. He argues with her some more. He's so upset. He calls Chantel to tell Chantel to come to the DR to like console him. And so she does. And so then Chantel ends up telling Winter, like, hey, let's go, let's have a girls trip. And then Karen ends up inviting herself to go to said girls trip. So now it's Karen, Winter, and Chantel going to the Dominican Republic. And Pedro's like, girl, don't come here and act up. Don't come here and act up, okay? I really don't want your family here. I really don't want all of this to happen, but don't come here and act up. So before they go, though, they do look at Karen. Karen's makeup was so on point that I just kept taking pictures of her. She looked so effing beautiful in this scene. So they're outside in their backyard, and she's talking to Winter about Ja. And so they start to burn some of Ja's things because he has a lot of love letters to her because they break up and get back together again. And just like the whole family joins in the burning of Ja's items. And I was just like, ugh. And then Chantel shows up and she's like, what are you guys doing? And then they sit outside and they're drinking wine and they're just talking about Ja like he ain't shit and he's a dog. And we get a scene where Winter cries and tells us that he's denied her from seeing the Leilani or Liani, the daughter that she has raised since she was a child, and that he's kind of holding that over her as like, if you don't want me, then you don't want this. And so it's really hurtful for her because if you have been with a child for 7 years and the child calls you mommy, it's really quite heartless for Ja to stop her from talking to that child. Regardless, it's heartless. It is heartless. Or to even have a moment to say goodbye is very heartless of him to do so, all because he's in his feelings because he wants to be called Lord and he thinks that he's the master of his domain. So, anyways, she says that their lives are very intertwined, like financially, there's so much going on. So this separation is hard. It's like pulling apart a tissue, right? It's not just a perforated thing. It's like it's like to get it. And I feel for her. I really do. So they go to the DR and Karen coins the situation that she's a beachinista or something, girl, and they're about to hang out at the beach. And I just be sometimes really tired of Karen's antics. So the beachinistas get into the car and Chantel fills them in about what's going on with Pedro and how he has no support from his family. And they basically turned against him for asking questions. And and for wanting to meet his dad. And so Karen and Winter don't have anything truly negative to say. They're just kind of like, well, that sucks. You should be there for him. And so Chantel is trying to devise a plan of how she's truly going to be there for him while supporting her sister at the same time and entertaining her mother, which I'm just like, this is a whole bit of business, girl. This is a whole bit of business. But she's up for the challenge and she's willing to do it. So they get there. Pedro picks them up in another car, not the same car they took to the campo, in another car. And he's like, oh, I don't know what this is gonna be like. I don't know if the family Chantel is gonna they come to the DR again. They're gonna cause a lot of trouble. I have to deal with this. I just want my family and this family to talk to each other, like all that stuff. So he gets a flower for her and puts it in her hair when he picks her up from the airport. It's really cute. It's a cute moment. So let's rewind back. So the next day after the fight at the campo, or the day after when they're about to leave the campo, again, they fight in the car about the father and about the fact that Lydia's a hoe and that Nicole's a hoe too. And then Nicole has a conversation with her grandmother that wasn't posted in the actual video. It was one of the B scenes that I saw like on Instagram. And basically her grandmother's like, there is nothing wrong with you dating Alejandro. There's no drama in that. This is what happens. You find love where you find love, and I support you. And so Nicole's walking away from this situation like, listen, me and my mother are fighting about Alejandro, but the way Pedro is being disrespectful to my mother is totally unacceptable. Okay? It's totally unacceptable. Because we fight, but I wasn't over here calling her a hoe and saying all this stuff. It's ridiculous. So Nicole then has a conversation in some lingerie with whatever his name is in New York. And whatever his name is tells her that his divorce is all of a sudden final. And she's like, are you serious? Because all of a sudden you're telling me it's final when like yesterday it was everything is stopped because of COVID. And he's like, yeah, everything is final. And she's like, see, so now I'm gonna tell my family, rub it all in their faces that I'm no longer dating a man who's technically married. And we are free to find our love and do what we want to do. And I said, okay, Nicole, I'm not here to hate on you. I just don't understand the drama about her being with Alejandro. Like, who effing cares? Like, this girl is grown. She got her braces off. She has a car. She's probably doing her thug thistle on social media and making herself a little bit of quaint. She's able to get a visa to go to the U.S. Also, I wonder about the visa to go to U.S. People in the Dominican Republic are able just to easily get a visa to go to the U.S. That's what it feels like. How come Lydia hasn't gone yet then? Well, where would she go? She would just go to Atlanta and like cause a lot of problems with Chantel. Really, it's Chantel though, because we see next episode that Chantel, while sitting at a table with Pedro and his mother, is gonna have to like ask questions to this woman. Girl, don't ask Lydia no questions. She don't owe you no answers. Who is you? And then she's like, I'm just asking you a question. Girl, did nobody tell you to ask nobody no questions? Listen, Chantel does the most, and I get it. It's for TV, but I can't be in support of that. You don't ask that woman no questions. You have already insulted her daughter with a series of events in which you started because you don't understand enough Spanish to understand that Nicole said punto and not punta. So go ahead and get up out of this conversation. I feel the exact same way. I can't wait till I can see Lydia roll her eyes and not answer Chantel's question. Because if it had been me, girl, I'd be like, Pedro, can you just tell your wife to leave me alone, please? She's harassing me. I don't want to answer her questions. Like, I would full on go into Karen mode. I'd be like, Pedro, can you just tell your esposa to don't talk to me? Because I can't. I don't want to answer any of her questions. If you have questions, I might answer yours, but probably not. But her, I don't even want to hear her voice. Why is she here, Pedro? Like, I would do that whole thing. 100%. Girl, anyways, that's, I think, what all I have to say about this show. Do y'all have anything to say? Did I miss anything? We got 10 minutes. I put around the fire with Karen. Chantel comes. His daughter calls her mommy. She no longer has a nanny. Oh, that's what River said. River said, Jaw's probably upset because he no longer has a nanny. And I said, woo, their lives are intertwined. Burning things of Jaw. They go to the DR, Beachinistas. She was talking about it and makes So another thing that Winter ended up saying is that her talking about Ja is kind of cathartic because she spent so much time hiding his behavior and not telling anyone in his family, like what anyone in her family, like what was going on. The fact that she's divulging some of this stuff that she was ashamed about or felt negatively about or knew wasn't right, the fact that she's actually talking about it means that she's over him. And I'm like, you know what, girl, you're absolutely right. Is exactly what it means. Because truthfully, I hate it when people are messy and they tell, like, they don't understand that in order to get their friends and family to like their significant others, there's certain things they should keep hidden. And those are the things that are outright, like, oh, red flag, like a crimson flag, right? But sometimes there are people who don't understand that when they're getting things off their chest, that there's these red flags aren't going to go away, right? And Winter understood that. Winter understood that, hey, there are some red flags, but if I don't want people talking about me, if I want people to support this relationship, then I need to keep those red flags to myself. And at this point, she is willing to divulge the red flags because it is kind of like, this is all that I have been hiding from you guys. Yeah, this is all the things that he said to me. I knew it was wrong, but I was just trying to live in happy land and make it work. And I thought that if I was positive and just kind of acquiesced a little bit, then maybe I could change him and we could change things and we could be fine. And I'm like, no, that never works. It never works. There's always one party that suffers, and it's usually the person named Winter. So I'm happy that she's out of it. I'm happy that she's out of it. Um, yeah. So Yazelle says, do you review Sister Wives? No, I don't. I don't review Sister Wives. I didn't know that it existed until like seasons, the later seasons, like maybe the last 2 seasons. So I didn't want to jump into it. Carla says, I love the moment in the car with Pedro and Winter. Yeah, Winter was really felt for him. And also he was like really nice to her. There was a nice moment because I really do feel like Winter and Pedro do get along. It's River and Pedro that sometimes don't get along. But I really do feel like Winter, probably because she didn't want people talking mess about her and Ja, was always nicer to Pedro than anything. And even if she felt a certain way, she never came at him the way that the rest of them came at him. So I thought it was real good. Yeah, girl, don't say anything until it's over. Y'all, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please, there are 70 people in this room. Thank you guys for being here right now. Annie, if you're in the room, Annie Richter, thank you so much for the Cash App, girl. I appreciate it. I honestly do appreciate it, Annie. You're always dedicated and like giving, and I do appreciate it. So the convo with Ja, Winter, and Chantel coaching, that didn't happen at the end of episode 7. So, okay, well, anyways, let me just talk about it real quick. I have time. So Ja turns up at the family home the day after he's kicked her out, and she puts him on speakerphone, and they're doing like a speakerphone mute situation to whenever he's talking. They put him on mute so that they can kind of coach her through what to say. And so I kind of like the way the family all gathered around to do that. I thought it was hilarious that Thomas was wearing a short silk apron and a fedora. Girl, I took a picture of it, but I thought I already talked about it. Okay, Josh shows up, and it's like Thomas is not prepared to film. Okay, everybody else got their clothes on. I mean, River's in a robe, but it's long and it's like furry. This Thomas is in his house with cameramen and producers with a short silk robe with white piping. And it's like navy blue with white piping and a hat on, a fedora, peeking out the window. I said to myself, huh, okay, Thomas, I see you in your short robe. I see you with your short robe. And so, anyways, so then he's outside and he calls her and they all coach her through it, like put it on mute. And they're like, okay, tell him no, tell him that he already kicked you out. So that was the end of it. Tell him there's nothing much to talk about and you wish him the best. And she's like, there's nothing more to wish. It's over, Ja, it's over. No, I mean, you kicked me out. And he's like, I didn't kick you out. Just come and talk to me, please. Please just come out and talk to me. Please. And I'm like, this is what I do not understand. Now, I know that this is a trait in a lot of people that they cannot help because of whatever childhood trauma. But if there's one thing in life that I have learned, is that you really do need to bridle your tongue and watch what you say when you are talking or yelling or arguing with someone that you love and that you want a relationship with. Because you cannot take some things back. The refrigerator's rude. Okay, like, at least for me, girl, the boundaries will go up. If you are angry and you allow yourself to like tumble into a word vomit, I'm going to say anything and everything I can to hurt your feelings and talk about you and tell you ain't shit and this is what you did wrong, pointing the fingers when there are three fingers pointing right back at you. I'm like, well, I don't have anything to say to you. You already said everything. You don't get another opportunity to say it again. And so it's always so interesting to me when someone goes as far as to tell someone, well, you can leave. And then 2 days later, they tell you they didn't mean it. And I'm like, nah, you cannot take that back. You cannot tell me, well, I can leave and then be like, I didn't mean it. Because that will always be in the back of my head. I will no longer be comfortable in this situation. I have put myself, my health, my trust, my security, my shelter in your hands. And at any moment, now I know that you will tell me that I can leave. And so now I don't trust this and I don't trust you. You cannot say things like that out of anger. I do not care what your problem is. I don't care if your daddy, I don't care. Go to therapy, figure it out. But I'm that person. Like if you feel yourself getting so angry that you know you're about to say a bunch of things that you're most likely going to regret, and in the moment it feels real good saying it, then back up out of it, because I can do that. And I'm somebody that just says anything. I get in trouble all the time for offending people with the things that I say. So if I'm in an argument with somebody and I'm like, okay, I can't go there because I do want a relationship with them, like unless I am done and I'm ready to burn a bridge, light a match, I know when to stop myself. And there's some people who don't. I have family members who don't. And afterwards, they want to come to me and be like, I'm really sorry. I was upset. I didn't mean that. And I'm like, the first time, okay, your family. The second time, guards are up. The third time, don't talk to me no more. I'm good. I don't need to talk to you. Because when you get upset, you say whatever. And you cannot be reasoned with. And that is, to me, a trait that I won't manage in my life. Someone who cannot be reasoned with when they're upset. I'm sorry. I know people have it. I know it's a thing. But I'm saying you cannot be my partner. You can't be my partner. That is just it. Like I mean, I get it. It happens. But you need therapy and you cannot be my partner, because you can't just say whatever you want to say to me and have there be no consequence to that and make it so that like I'm the problem. Now she needs to come out of her house and talk to you. No, what you need to do is get up out your car, walk to the front door. No, on hands and knees, crawl to the front door and apologize to that entire family. She doesn't need to come out and talk to you. You need to come to her house. You need to talk to her father. You need to speak to her family. And you need to tell them, I was wrong with what I did to Winter. And you need to confess all your sins in front of all of them and tell them that you were going to do better and you're going to let go of your religion or whatever it is in your religion that's causing you to behave the way you're behaving. Anyways, that's all I have to say about it. Oh, God. And don't put anything in writing. Oh, my God. Yeah, like I cannot. When you say it the first time, you better mean it the first time and don't bother me anymore. Exactly. Like there are people who are just used to that kind of abuse. Like, and unfortunately, like people's parents are like that, where you have parents who feel like they could just say whatever they want to say to you when they're frustrated. And I had parents like that too, who would just say whatever it is. Like, even if it like doesn't make any sense, especially parents, they'd be like, I fed you, I brought you into this world. And it's like, did nobody ask you to do any of those things? So don't throw that back in my face. You had children because you wanted to. And now I'm here and you're going to be mean to me and tell me that I'm the problem? No. That's not how that works. That's not how it works for me, at least. So And if you're used to that, if you're used to your parent talking to you reckless, then you'll take it from a person, which is why it's interesting that Winter took it, because she's not, I don't think she was spoken to like that. So it's like she was in a place where she really needed some change in her life. So you guys, don't let people talk to you any kind of way. Even if your mother spoke to you any kind of way, don't let people talk to you any kind of way. It diminishes who you are, and it breaks you down syllable by syllable. You may not feel it, but you'll wake up one day and recognize that you're a different person than you thought you were, and you're in a situation you don't want to be in. Don't let people talk to you any kind of way. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share on any social media platform that you deem fit. Y'all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you later. Okay, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.